Good morning, everyone. We are continuing the same lesson 19 language, writing, and books, second session. What did people write on during those days? In the beginning, people probably wrote on cloth, leaves, barks of trees, etc., which decayed and got destroyed with time. Some people even wrote on pots by scratching on them. Some of these have survived. However, the earliest writing of long text that has survived till date is Ashoka's inscription, which were engraved on rocks and odd stone pillars. In many parts of South India, people wrote on palm leaves, which were cut into definite size. They used a pen-like pen to scratch on the dried leaf and colored it with black ink. In North India, they used the barks of burja trees, which grew in the Himalayas. Poems, songs, and stories. You may have listened to many poems, songs, sayings, and stories from your parents or grandparents. Many of these were not written down, but passed on from one generation to another, just as your parents told you. This is called oral literature. That is literature which has been passed on by word of mouth. Just you have to listen and remember. This was the earliest form of literature. They also passed on their understanding of the world through sayings and proverbs. Vedas. The Vedas were also initially composed and taught orally. The orally taught literature was called Vedas, were preserved over 300 years in this manner, but were later written down. Great epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Epics are deeds of heroic and legendary figures. They describe conflicts between good or evil, dharma and adharma. Every country has its own epic, and in India we have two important epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. The Ramayana is the story of Rama and Sita and fight between Rama and Ravana. The Ramayana tries to portray an ideal human being, an ideal son, an ideal wife, an ideal brother, and an ideal ruler, etc. This epic, composed by Valmiki, is considered to be the first kavyas in Sanskrit literature. Initially, it was recited orally, but later written down. The Mahabharata is the story of conflict between two sets of cousins, the Kauravas and the Pandavas. It finally ended in a great war which was won by the Pandavas with the help of Lord Krishna. It is one of the largest poems in the world and contains number of short stories which was composed by Vyasa. Historians believe that even though these epics were composed much earlier, they were given final form about 1600 years ago. Jattaka Stories. Gautama Buddha's followers believed that he had been born several times earlier to preach dharma to fellow human beings and animals. They wrote many stories about his previous births and compiled them in the form of Jataka stories. These too were collected and written down around 1600 to 1800 years ago. Sangam literature in Tamil. Tamil language was spoken in a large part of South India in the early days. Sangam literature is a collection of poems composed by a large number of poets and poetesses. They wrote about heroes who bravely fought wars to defend their tribes, about the love of brave heroes and beautiful girls, about the beauty of landscapes, seasons, and their effect on human beings. Few questions you have to answer in assignment. Write your name in at least 3 to 4 languages you know. Second one, define Vedas. Third, name the two epics of India and what do they describe. Thank you. Have a good day.